Hey Taurus, welcome back to the channel. I just sat down with my deck because I kept feeling this pull to check in on your energy, and what came through today is absolutely fascinating. You know those people who have been working against you or trying to dim your light? The universe is showing me something really interesting about what is happening in their world right now, and honestly, it is pretty validating for you. Let me just shuffle here and connect with your energy. I have been doing readings for Taurus for years now, and there is something about your sign that just attracts these situations where people underestimate you, you know? They see your patience and calm demeanor and somehow mistake that for weakness. But what they do not realize is that while they have been scheming and plotting, you have been building something real and lasting. Okay, so I am pulling the first card here to see what energy is surrounding this whole situation. What have you been going through that these people are now experiencing themselves? The first card that came out is Four of Swords, and this is so telling right here. This card is showing me that you went through a period of necessary rest and recovery. You know that time when everything felt like it was falling apart around you, and you had no choice but to step back and heal. That was not weakness, Taurus. That was strategic withdrawal. You were in a position where you needed to pause, regroup, and really take care of your mental and emotional well-being. I am seeing that during this Four of Swords period in your life, people were probably talking. They were watching you take that step back, and in their minds, they were celebrating what they thought was your defeat. Maybe you lost a job, maybe a relationship ended, maybe you had to move back home or make some difficult financial decisions. Whatever it was, you were in recovery mode, and certain people took that as an opportunity to kick you while you were down or to position themselves as somehow superior to you. But here is what the Four of Swords really represents, and this is what those people did not understand. This card is about strategic rest. It is about the warrior who leaves the battlefield not because they are defeated, but because they are smart enough to know that rest is part of the strategy. You were healing, yes, but you were also planning. You were also watching. You were also learning from everything that happened. During your Four of Swords phase, you were probably doing a lot of internal work. Maybe you were in therapy, maybe you were journaling, maybe you were just spending time alone figuring out who you really are and what you really want. And while you were doing that deep, important work, these other people were busy running their mouths or plotting their next move against you. They used your rest period as fuel for their ego, not realizing that you were actually becoming stronger in the quiet. What I am seeing here is that now, these same people are being forced into their own Four of Swords moment. The universe has a funny way of teaching lessons, does it not? They are now experiencing the exhaustion, the burnout, the need to withdraw that you went through. But here is the difference, and this is crucial. When you went through it, you used it as a time of genuine healing and growth. You were humble enough to admit you needed rest. You were wise enough to take the time to recover properly. These people though, they are being forced into this rest period, and they are fighting it every step of the way. They do not want to admit they need help. They do not want to look weak because they spent so much time judging you for your vulnerability. So instead of using this as a healing opportunity like you did, they are probably spiraling. They are exhausted but refusing to stop. They are burned out but trying to maintain appearances. They are breaking down but too proud to seek the help they need. The energy here is showing me that what you survived with grace and self-awareness, they are now suffering through with resistance and denial. You took your Four of Swords period and emerged stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your true path. They are taking their Four of Swords period and making it worse by refusing to learn the lesson. That is the key difference between someone who grows through challenges and someone who just gets bitter from them. Alright, let me pull the next card because I want to see what role these people played in your life and what they are dealing with now as a result of their own actions. This second card is Queen of Cups, and wow. This is bringing tears to my eyes a little bit because I can feel the emotional depth here. The Queen of Cups is telling me that you were showing up in your connections with so much emotional intelligence, so much compassion, so much genuine care. You were the person people came to with their problems. You were the shoulder to cry on, the voice of reason, the one who always made space for other people's feelings. Even with the people who were working against you, I am seeing that you probably tried to approach situations with empathy. You probably tried to understand where they were coming from. You probably gave them chance after chance because that is what the Queen of Cups does. She believes in the goodness of people. She wants to nurture and support and help others grow. But here is what happened, and I am sure you can relate to this. Your emotional generosity was taken for granted. Your kindness was seen as something they could exploit. The Queen of Cups energy that you were offering was not valued or reciprocated. Instead, these people saw your emotional openness as a weakness they could target. They knew you cared deeply, so they knew exactly where to strike to hurt you most. I am getting that maybe you shared something vulnerable with someone who later used it against you. Or maybe you were always there for someone who was never there for you when you needed them. Or perhaps you kept trying to see the best in someone who was actively working to see you fail. The Queen of Cups in you kept giving and giving, kept trying to heal and mend and fix, even when it was clear that your energy was not being appreciated. What the cards are showing me now is absolutely beautiful in terms of universal justice. These people who took advantage of your Queen of Cups nature are now desperately needing that same energy themselves. They are going through emotional turmoil and they are looking around for support, for compassion, for someone to hold space for their feelings the way you did for others. But guess what? They are not finding it. Because here is the thing about how we treat others. The energy we put out comes back to us. They were not Queen of Cups energy for anyone. They were not nurturing, not emotionally supportive, not compassionate. So now when they need those things, they are discovering that they do not have those kinds of people in their life because they never were that kind of people to others. I am seeing them reaching out and finding that people are not as patient with their emotions as you were. They are discovering that the world does not revolve around their feelings the way they expected. They are learning that emotional support is something you have to cultivate through genuine relationships, not something you can just demand when you suddenly need it. And the really poetic part? Some of them might even be realizing that you were that person for them, and they destroyed that connection through their own actions. They are sitting in their emotional chaos now, probably thinking about how you used to listen to them, how you used to care, how you used to show up. But they cannot go back to that well anymore because they poisoned it themselves. The Queen of Cups is also about emotional maturity and knowing your own worth. You have learned, probably through pain, that your emotional energy is precious and should not be given to people who do not value it. Meanwhile, they are just now entering that lesson, and it is hitting them hard. They are feeling the lack of genuine emotional connection in their lives, and they are starting to understand what they lost when they lost you. Let me pull another card here because I want to understand what is actually manifesting in their reality right now as a result of their actions toward you. Oh, this is powerful. 9 of Pentacles just came out, and this is about independence, self-sufficiency, and enjoying the fruits of your own labor. But I am reading this in a really specific way for this situation. The 9 of Pentacles is showing me that you have been working on building something solid for yourself. You have been focused on your own growth, your own stability, your own abundance. After everything you went through, after that 4 of Swords rest period, after you stopped giving your Queen of Cups energy to people who did not deserve it, you turned inward and started building for yourself. You started focusing on your goals, your dreams, your financial stability, your personal growth. You essentially said, okay, if I cannot trust others to value what I bring, then I will create value for myself. And Taurus, you have been doing that, have you not? Even if it does not feel complete yet, even if you are still in the building phase, you have been putting in the work. You have been showing up for yourself. You have been making better choices about where you invest your time and energy. You have been getting smarter about your resources, whether that is financial resources, emotional resources, or time. The 9 of Pentacles represents someone who has learned to enjoy their own company, who has created a life they do not need to escape from. It is about self-reliance, not because you hate people, but because you have learned that the most important relationship you have is with yourself. You have probably been spending more time alone, but it is quality time. You have been investing in things that actually matter to you. Now, here is where it gets interesting with these other people. They are watching you embody this 9 of Pentacles energy, and it is driving them crazy. They expected you to crumble. They expected you to stay down. They expected that without their approval or presence in your life, you would struggle. But instead, you are thriving independently, and they cannot handle it. What I am picking up is that they are not in their 9 of Pentacles energy at all. While you have been building and creating stability, they have been stuck in chaos of their own making. They thought tearing you down would somehow elevate them, but it did not work that way. They are realizing that whatever success or happiness they thought they would get from your downfall never materialized. In fact, some of them might be facing financial struggles or instability right now. Or they are in situations where they wish they had the independence and self-sufficiency that you are building. They might be stuck in toxic relationships or job situations because they do not have the strength to stand alone like you do. They are dependent on external validation, on other people's drama, on circumstances they cannot control. The Nine of Pentacles is also about delayed gratification and long-term thinking. You put in the hard work even when it was not glamorous. You made sacrifices. You stayed disciplined, and now you are starting to see the rewards of that, even if they are small right now. But these other people, they wanted shortcuts. They wanted quick wins. They wanted to feel successful by making others fail rather than by actually building something real. So while you are cultivating your garden, so to speak, enjoying the fruits of your labor and your personal growth, they are looking at their own lives and realizing they have been so focused on you that they neglected to build anything meaningful for themselves. That has to sting. That has to be a really uncomfortable realization, that they wasted time and energy on negativity toward you instead of investing in their own growth. The universe is really showing them the consequences of their choices through contrast. They see you becoming more independent, more stable, more self-assured, and it is like holding up a mirror to their own lack of progress. And that is not your problem anymore, Taurus. That is theirs to deal with. Let me see what is coming through next about the bigger picture of this situation. 10 of Wands just fell out, and okay, this is the card that really shows the suffering they are going through. The 10 of Wands is about being overburdened, carrying too much, struggling under the weight of responsibilities and consequences. This is exhaustion on a different level from the 4 of Swords. This is active struggle, feeling crushed by everything you are trying to hold onto. What I am seeing here is absolutely fascinating because it is showing me the real cost of their actions. See, when people spend time and energy trying to bring others down, they do not realize they are actually creating burdens for themselves. Every lie they told, every bit of gossip they spread, every scheme they plotted against you, it all became a weight they now have to carry. The 10 of Wands is showing me that they are now dealing with the consequences of their own negativity, and it is heavy. Maybe the lies they told are catching up with them and they have to do damage control. Maybe the drama they created has circled back and now they are in the center of it. Maybe the energy they put into watching you and obsessing over you has distracted them so much that their own life fell apart. I am also seeing that some of these people might have taken on things that they saw you do, thinking it would be easy for them. Like maybe they took a job you left, or they stepped into a role you vacated, and they are discovering it is way harder than they thought. They are carrying burdens they are not equipped to handle because they underestimated what you were actually capable of managing. The 10 of Wands often shows up when someone has refused help, when someone is too proud to admit they cannot handle everything alone. Sound familiar? These are the same people who judged you for needing rest, for taking time to heal, for asking for help. Now they are in a position where they desperately need those things, but their ego will not let them admit it. What you survived, they are suffering through because you had the wisdom to know when to put the wands down, when to delegate, when to step back. You understood that you are human and have limits. But they are trying to carry everything themselves, probably trying to prove something, trying to maintain an image, and it is breaking them down. I am getting this image of someone literally hunched over, struggling to move forward, exhausted but refusing to let go of even one of those wands. That is what their energy looks like right now. Meanwhile, you already learned to travel light. You already learned that not everything is yours to carry. You already learned that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is put something down. The 10 of Wands is also about approaching the end of a difficult cycle. The person in this card is almost home, almost done, but these last steps are the hardest. What I am sensing is that they are in the thick of their struggle right now, and unlike you who had people who genuinely cared when you were down, they are finding themselves pretty alone in this. Because again, you reap what you sow, and they did not sow kindness or support. There is also an element here about self-created problems. The 10 of Wands often represents burdens we have unnecessarily taken on ourselves. And is that not exactly what happened? Their issues right now are not because the universe randomly decided to make their life hard. Their issues are direct results of the choices they made, the negativity they put out, the bridges they burned, the time they wasted on trying to hurt you instead of helping themselves. You know what is really interesting? You probably feel lighter now than you have in years, even if you are still working on building your new life. Because you are not carrying the weight of trying to hurt anyone. You are not burdened with maintaining lies or keeping up false appearances. You are not exhausted from putting energy into tearing others down. You put down those particular wands a while ago. But they picked up all those wands and more, and now they are stumbling under the weight. That is their downfall right there. It is not even something you did to them. It is the natural consequence of their own actions, their own choices, their own energy. They created their own prison, and now they have to live in it. Alright, let me pull one more card because I feel like there is something specific about what they are learning or what realization is hitting them. The Emperor came through, and this is so perfect because the Emperor is about structure, authority, control, and facing the consequences of how you have wielded power. This card is telling me that these people are now facing authority figures or structures that are holding them accountable. The same way they tried to use whatever power they had against you, now they are encountering situations where they are not in control. The Emperor also represents karma in a very direct way. It is about law, order, justice, and reaping what you sow. I am seeing that whatever they tried to do to damage your reputation or your position, it is now coming back on them in an official or structured way. Maybe they are dealing with HR issues at work, maybe legal situations, maybe financial institutions, maybe even just the hard reality of how the world works when you do not have integrity. What is coming through really strongly is that they thought they could manipulate systems or people to work against you, but the Emperor is showing that those same systems are now working against them. There is a higher order to things, a structure to the universe that eventually puts everyone in their rightful place. They tried to subvert that, and now they are being corrected. The Emperor is also about taking responsibility and being a leader with integrity. You have been stepping into your own Emperor energy, Taurus, becoming the authority in your own life, building your own empire even if it is small right now, operating with integrity and structure. You have been learning to be disciplined, to set boundaries, to take control of what you can control. Meanwhile, these people are facing the Emperor as a force that is showing them they are not in control, that their actions have consequences, that there are rules and orders to life that they cannot manipulate or escape. They are being humbled in a very real way. I am also getting that some of them might be dealing with father figures or masculine authority figures who are calling them out, or they are facing situations where they have to answer to someone and they cannot charm or manipulate their way out of it like they might have done before. The Emperor does not care about excuses or manipulation. The Emperor cares about what is right, what is just, and what the natural order demands. This is their downfall crystallizing into something concrete. It is not just karma in an abstract sense anymore. It is real consequences, real accountability, real structures in their life falling apart or holding them responsible. And honestly, Taurus, you do not even have to do anything. The Emperor handles his own business. Justice handles itself. The structure of the universe is doing the work for you. Let me pull one final card to see what the ultimate message is for you in all of this, and what you should know moving forward. The Devil, and before you worry, let me explain what I am seeing here because this is actually incredibly validating for you. The Devil represents bondage, addiction, unhealthy attachments, and being trapped in toxic patterns. What this card is showing me is that these people are literally enslaved to their own negativity. They are trapped in patterns of jealousy, bitterness, and obsession. The Devil shows up when someone cannot break free from their own worst impulses, when they keep choosing the same destructive behaviors over and over even though they can see it is hurting them. That is exactly what is happening here. These people know that focusing on you is not helping them. They know that their negativity is making their life worse. But they cannot stop. The Devil is about being chained to things that give temporary satisfaction but long-term suffering. Their ego gets fed when they talk badly about you or try to undermine you, but then their actual life gets worse. It is like an addiction. They get a little hit of feeling superior or validated when they engage in this behavior, but the cost is their own growth, their own happiness, their own freedom. What is so powerful about the devil appearing here is that it shows they are in a self-created prison. Those chains on the devil card? They are loose. The people could remove them if they wanted to. But they do not, because they have become so identified with their victim mentality, their bitterness, their narrative about you, that they cannot imagine who they would be without it. You, on the other hand, broke free from your own devil moments. We all have them, times when we are tempted to stay in toxic patterns because they are familiar. But you did the work to break those chains. You chose healing over bitterness. You chose growth over revenge. You chose freedom over the temporary satisfaction of staying in the drama. Now they are showing you exactly what you escaped. They are demonstrating what your life would look like if you had chosen to stay chained to resentment and negativity. And I bet when you see them or hear about what they are going through, part of you feels grateful that you took the harder but healthier path, right? The devil also talks about shadow self and the parts of ourselves we do not want to look at. These people are being forced to confront their shadow, their jealousy, their insecurity, their need to tear others down to feel okay about themselves. But instead of doing that inner work like you did, they are probably projecting even more, blaming even more, sinking deeper into their own darkness. This is their downfall, Taurus. Not a dramatic explosion, but a slow imprisonment in their own toxicity. They are becoming smaller, more bitter, more trapped, while you are expanding, healing, and building. They are their own jailer, and until they choose to do the difficult work of releasing those chains, they will stay exactly where they are. So looking at all 6 cards together, the story is so clear. What you survived through rest, emotional growth, and building independence, they are now suffering through with resistance, isolation, and overwhelming burden. The authority and structure of the universe is holding them accountable, and they are trapped in their own toxic patterns. Meanwhile, you are free, you are growing, you are building, and you are being protected by the natural order of things. Their downfall truly is their own creation. Every choice they made, every bit of negativity they sent your way, it all built the prison they are sitting in now. And the most beautiful part? You do not have to do a single thing about it. You just keep walking your path, keep building your 9 of Pentacles garden, keep embodying that Queen of Cups wisdom about who deserves your energy, and let the Emperor of the universe handle the rest. I hope this reading brought you some clarity and validation, Taurus. You have been through it, but you are coming out stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your truth. Keep going. Your story is far from over, and the best chapters are still being written. Have any of you experienced something similar? Let me know in the comments. And remember, the best revenge is becoming so focused on your own growth that you forget to even think about the people who tried to hold you back. Sending you all so much love and light.